The sacrament of confirmation has been present in the Christian religion since the very beginning. It has been found in many books of the Bible, especially the Acts of the Apostles. As stated in the Catechism of the Catholic Church, the effect of the sacrament of confirmation is a special outpouring of the Holy Spirit, as once granted to the apostles on the day of Pentecost. The rite of confirmation is really similar to Pentecost. We, like the 12 apostles, are blessed with the Holy Spirit and enabled through this initiating rite to carry on the good news and to go out and live as people of the church. After all, the color of both Pentecost and the sacrament of confirmation is red, and the symbol, which is fire or flames, stand as significant signs that this rite is meant to make us into the burning lights, ready to go and spread God's light to the rest of the world. Although confirmation today no longer occurs before the sacrament of Eucharist, it brings a deepening of the baptismal grace received during baptism, and is the final initiating sacrament of a Christian into the Catholic Church.
Confirmation is one of the 7 sacraments through which Catholics pass in the process of their religious upbringing. According to the Catholic doctrine, in this sacrament they are sealed with the gift of the Holy Spirit and are strengthened in the Christian faith. The sacrament of confirmation builds on the sacraments of baptism, penance, and Holy Communion, completing the process of initiation into our Catholic Church.
The actual process usually takes their 8th grade year, but actually the process of confirmation starts off in baptism, because confirmation is a reaffirmation of everything that went on in baptism. So basically it starts at home from the day you're born, baptized in the Catholic faith, right on until you receive the Holy Spirit. And to make sure that the kids understand exactly, especially in today's world, exactly all the spiritual ramifications of the confirmation itself, as far as cutting through all the secular nonsense that goes on in the world now and getting to the spiritual side and exposing them. That's why we expose them to the saints, to pick a name, because if they study the saints they'll find out certain attributes of the saints are the same attributes that they want as confirmandees, with the strength and the help of the Holy Spirit. And get the students ready is to offer them all the information that they need in picking their saint, finding out what's important about confirmation, what it's really about, in line with the sacraments and the sacraments of initiation, which of course are completing with this confirmation. But basically you want to give all the material and information to them now. You can give them all the information you want, but whether they'll engage with it and actually prepare for it, that's up to them.
Good. I think that the best way to prepare spiritually for the sacrament of confirmation is to have a personal encounter with Jesus Christ. In our parish, we do that through spirit days, retreats. We ask the students to do service hours in which they can practice the spiritual and corporal works of mercy, where they show compassion and mercy to others.
Yeah.
As we go through our sacramental preparation for the sacrament of confirmation, saints are chosen to be a person we want to be like, as well as someone we can pray to for us from heaven. In choosing a saint for confirmation, we are choosing a special friend to intercede for us in heaven, and after whom we can model our lives while here on earth. You can't call up a famous person you want to be like to come help you, but your confirmation saint is someone you can talk to whenever you need them, and they will always have your back.
So picking a saint is a very important step in confirmation. You'll want to pick a saint who speaks to you and who you connect with on a spiritual level, because you'll be bonded with them on a spiritual level. Next, you'll want to look at their virtues and how they speak to you. So some of these virtues include selflessness, obedience, etc. Next, you'll want to look at their lives. So saints are considered as people who live their lives according to God's will. They lived holy lives and inspire us to do the same as well. Their life stories can include challenges and hardships that they had and how they overcome it. And then they give us examples on how to overcome our spiritual hardships and challenges as well. Finally, it's important to have a spiritual connection with your saint, for your saint will be watching over you and protecting you and telling you, it will be guiding your conscience.
I chose St. Augustine as my saint name because I like the city in Florida and I admire what he stood for on his time on earth, and because he was one of the Latin fathers of the church. Receiving confirmation to me was basically me continuing on the path as a child of God and deciding who I am as a person of faith. After I received confirmation, I felt that I was closer to God, and it enabled me to move farther on my path of Christianity.
A sponsor is a living witness and mentor who represents the Christian community, its values, its beliefs, its behaviors, and so on, to the catechumen. It is seen as a lifetime commitment, a relationship that would last throughout the individual's journey of faith, so from confirmation and so forth. A sponsor can make an enormous difference in the preparation of a candidate for the sacrament of confirmation. It is important, therefore, that the candidate chooses a sponsor who is well suited to the role and will be an integral part of the preparation process.
Ask me about being a sponsor. Being a sponsor not only was an honor, I think it was truly a responsibility. I felt like I had to make sure that I prayed over my sponsee, that I was an influence on her, and that I made sure that I was one of her spiritual guides, one of her mentors in this journey. And I think I drew closer to the Lord at that time when I was part of the process, helping her on that journey. Being a teacher, I not only have been a sponsor, but I've seen many students go about the process of receiving their confirmation. And I've watched that confirmandi through the process. Of course, we prayed over them, but we've also noticed that, and I've also noticed that at that time, from the point of confirmation and after, they've drawn closer not only to the Lord, but to the people that influence them to get to that point. Some of them, you didn't think that they would have been touched as much as they were. And now, because they were touched so much, you see them at our school, at our church, participating in the retreats, being sponsors themselves, helping others on that journey.
Picked as a sponsor was a huge honor. I'd never been picked as a sponsor before, so I was a little surprised when I was asked because, it'd been a while since I was confirmed. It made me reflect on my faith and how it affected my life and how it would affect my confirmandi in her life. And I took as many opportunities as I could to guide her whenever she needed me, and I still do whenever I can, and it's a big responsibility that I'm happy to carry with me.
When we receive confirmation, the bishop blesses us by using chrism, which is a mixture of pure olive oil and balsam. Each ingredient has its own symbolic significance. The olive oil represents the outpouring of sacramental grace and the strength and durability of our limbs. Balsam, which has a sweet and pleasant odor, represents the sweetness of Christian virtue. Therefore, chrism signifies spiritual strength and grace that we use to resist the corruption of sin.
Go. Since confirmation establishes young adults as full-fledged members of the faith, you speak for yourself. During your baptism, your godparents make promises for you. At confirmation, you renew these promises, this time speaking for yourself. Being confirmed in the church means accepting responsibility for your faith and destiny. Adulthood, even young adulthood, means that you must do what's right on your own, not for the recognition or reward, but merely because it's the right thing to do.